Welcome to Movie Lounge. I'm your host, Stephen Wasson, and today we're going to talk about two questions. And before I get to those questions, last week, at the beginning of this week, I had an episode ready, but I had technical difficulties with the episode and some just problems all around, so it kind of set me back. And I only had one question, and it was actually for Friday, and it kind of put me in a downer, and I was like, well, this kind of stinks, and it was only one simple question, which we'll get to, and I had another probably one of the best questions I've ever gotten in a long time about movies, and it was really good, and I was like, dude, I don't know the answer, but I'll look it up, and I'll answer it on the show, because I felt like it was such a good question to answer, so why not? First, before we get to the questions, I wanted to let you guys know that we are coming up with a set schedule for us to come up with doing about 3 to 4 episodes a week. And we want to start pushing those more and get more out there for you guys to watch. And so you guys don't kind of a hit and miss kind of thing. You're on YouTube and you're like, oh, they don't have an episode. Oh, they had an episode. I didn't know when. I want to start start leaning towards a very set schedule for everyone, so it's not sporadic. It's very much like a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then leave the weekend open and stuff. And Friday will be a very slow episode because it's just kind of leaning to the weekend. But I want to get to the first question, which is Duke Silver, and that question is, as an actor, who would you want to play in the Marvel or DC universe? And reading the question, I totally I think it's asking if I was an actor, would I want to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DC Universe. Wow, I'm terrible with words today. But anyways, if I was an actor and I wanted to be in either Marvel or DC films, I'd probably lean more towards Marvel because it's more laid back. It's more fun. It's more towards kids. And if I had to pick character, I would probably be Iron Man because Iron Man is a very technical person. And it just tech savvy all around. And I wouldn't want to play him just because, he's a multi-billionaire. But because he has a lot of cool things. He builds things with his hands. He is, to me, the essential guy who will solve the problem and use everything in his resource to get things done. And I think with DC, nothing wrong with that. I just feel like I don't want to be in a darker toned film. Like, if I want to do comic book movies, I want to do it for kids. I want to make something that kids will go see. And that's what I feel like Marvel is set for, is that I can go into doing a Marvel movie and knowing that, okay, tons of kids are going to watch this, and that kids are going to enjoy it, and that's what I want. Like, again, nothing wrong with DC films. If I got to do them, yeah, I'd do them. I wouldn't have a problem saying no to them. So, that in a way, I hope that answers your question. Like, if I had to, what would I pick? It would be Marvel, without a doubt, but I'd be open for DC as well. And so last night I had a very cool question, and that was from my friend Cody, who asked me, why does the film lens circular when the picture comes out rectangular? And I learned this in college with everything of lighting, sound, everything, that we learned this, and I actually had to look it up because I didn't know fully what it was. I found out I got most of it right, which means some of what I learned in college still pretty much stuck in my head. So that, I feel like that's a plus. I feel like I'm going really well with all learning stuff from college. So the best way I can explain this without going into super technical stuff, because I feel like this episode would be 3 hours long just to explain the lens itself. So, in short, what the lens is, the reason why it's circular is because it can bounce off light. It bends light, which allows it to help get the picture to come out clearly. That's pretty much what it does. In shortness, of all classes I've taken in college, that is the answer to that. And it's not saying that, well, we're not going to do rectangular lenses. It would look dorky. It's possible. But just having a circular lens, it allows everything to work better. And that's pretty much what it is. It just helps bend the light. When you're filming something, picture this as a lens in my hand. When you're filming something, light will come in, tons of light, and it helps the picture of what you're capturing. Whether it helps it or it doesn't, you can go overexposed, underexposed. And it helps it because you'll see, like, in the lens, when you look at a lens, you'll see, like, what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at my camera and I'm seeing the lens right now, and I can see looks like a little ball inside the middle of the lens. And that, if you look at and you tilt the lens a little bit more, picture this as a lens. If you're looking at this, picture this as the center of the lens, and everything around it is the main bulk of the lens with all the glass and everything. If you tilt it a little bit, you can see in the middle there's like a little dome inside. That is where the light can bounce or bend around it to help the picture be a lot. It just helps it. Like, without going into technical things, it helps it. And that's the whole, and I've wondered this too, when you're focusing and doing all this stuff with it, you have to realize that certain light is coming all around. So it bends around the whole entire thing. This is the dome of it. Like, it's all curved around here in the middle, which is where you have your little sensor on it. And the sensor is a little square, rectangular thing that captures the picture. It's like a stamp. To me, it's always like you take a picture and it stamps it right there and it moves on. When you take film, which I might bring up one of these episodes. I actually have, I think it's a 60mm film. And I'll bring out one of my lenses to guys to show you much better in probably the next few episodes. But what happens is you have this film, and then with film it's 24 frames per second, which is the universal for Northern America. It's 24 frames per second. And it shoots up there and it just stamps all the, not literally stamps it, but it takes like 24 little frames to do 1 second, and it puts the imagery on there. And that's what goes right in front of, like, here's the lens and here's the film, and it's right here. With digital, it's a whole different level of stuff. But if you're taking a film reel, like actual film, like 35mm, 8mm, 16mm, the lens is right here and the film is right here. So it's projecting all the things from up here to back here. And so, in a nutshell, that's pretty much why the lens is circular. That's pretty much why. I hope that answers your question, because it answered my question, because I looked it up last night after all that hoopla. And I felt kind of good, like, okay, I knew the answer a little bit, but I learned more and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I learned something new, and that's the cool thing about those questions is if I don't know the answer all the way, I'll go look it up. I have no problem admitting, hey, I don't know the answer, but give me a day and I'll look up the answer. So that is so far today's episode. Again, we're going to have a very set schedule starting next week. And again, if you guys have any questions, you can go to the Twitter account, the Facebook page, which we just started up, and the website that we just started all up for this whole entire web series. Or you can email us at themovielounge15@gmail.com. Again, that's movielounge15@gmail.com. You can submit your questions. You can ask us really good questions like the film lens, and allow us to relearn things about film and come to you guys and be like, hey, here's the answer to this. And so, yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. We're going to be back next weekend with full new lineup of shows. You have a good day. Thanks.